I've said it times above numbers that President Ruto is a master-code poet of Kenyan politics. He is a very good politician, but not a leader. I personally support President William Samoei Ruto, but let me tell you one thing, if something is rejected due to its poisonous nature, it remains poisonous. Whether you scoop a percentage of it or not, the whole content remains poisonous. We've all seen that the housing levy has now been reduced right from 3% to 1.5%, and I strongly believe that was their main target. But of course, strategically, they chose to play with Kenyans' emotions so that when they announce the reduction, Kenyans may feel relieved. I'm imagining of a situation where Kenyans are currently paying for NHIF, of which it's not working. Why doesn't the Kenya Kwanza government first address of the NHIF before imposing the 1.5% on Kenyans? Because if Kenyans can't use the NHIF as a blueprint, then I kid you not, whether the housing levy is 1% or 0.5%, it will be next to impossible for the whole scheme to work either. Imagine even after it has been reduced to 1.5, Kenyans across the political divide are pushing or proposing for its complete elimination. Why? Because the truth of the matter is, matters affordable housing is a devolved function, and so both the National Assembly and the national government have no any jurisdiction in dealing with it, and so they should just shun away from it. I think President William Samoei Ruto and his team should have introduced some tax incentive reliefs and benefits that should have accompanied the housing levy, like the home ownership saving plan, of which that could be a relief to the low income earners. You can just imagine how many low income earners are there in Kenya, and today the government wants to milk them dry. It's equally next to impossible for you to milk a cow that you've not been feeding. You'll get nothing out of it. My point is, the government should just create a conducive business environment, then create more jobs for the youth. Then with time, those in the slums are going to be able to vindicate themselves from the slums to better houses. I strongly believe it is not that Kenyans don't want to pay taxes. No, it is just that a vast majority of Kenyans don't trust the government with their funds. And that is why many Kenyans want the government to first manage the NHIF fund, then come for the housing levy. Essentially, a few months ago, even the opposition was in full support of the affordable housing plan.
Affordable housing, and this is something that was not properly understood when the Jubilee government wanted to introduce it. A housing levy. That housing levy is actually meant for workers, for the low-income people. That's why it's called low-income housing. And if you do that, you'll be able to actually create more wealth down there and more and change the status of the workers down there. So this is something that actually should have been promoted by the trade union. COTU is the one who should be leading this process.
But now that they're not in government, they are equally opposing it, and that is what we call politics. Since time immemorial, Kenyan politics has always been about self-interest and not people's interest. And that could be the reason why we're seeing the double standards. But honestly, that has just been my opinion. If you have a contrary opinion to mine, kindly do feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. And as I come to the penultimate part of this video, in case if you're watching me for the very first time, kindly just consider hitting on the subscribe button. If you've been watching my videos and you've not subscribed, kindly do consider hitting on the subscribe button. And more so, if you're watching me from a different platform, either Telegram, TikTok, or Facebook, kindly just head on over to YouTube, search for Mohamed Sudi. I'll be the first right person to pop up. If matters socio-economic and political matters are your great areas of concern, kindly do consider hitting on the subscribe button so that each and every time that I upload a new video, it will automatically reflect on your notification panel. And by so doing, you'll simply be supporting my content. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Contained in our manifesto the need to improve and get houses. The question is, there's an outcry from a lot of people, but I want to say that without pain there is no gain. We need to eliminate slums. Every corner of this county of Nairobi has slums, and it has a lot of things that come with it. The things that come with slums is increased crime, all right, because you've got the houses so close together. We've got illegal connections of electricity, fires every week in the capital city. Nairobi should not have fancy malls like Two Rivers and Serit and Village Market, and at the same time, just down the road, you've got people living with with total indignity. So, in the Housing Committee, what we're going to really tell Kenyans is, if you do, if the finance bill passes, because obviously the government has the majority, and housing is one of the housing tax is going to be one, or the housing fund is going to be one of the taxes that will go with it. You know, let's give the benefit of doubt, right? And let's pray that the government deals decisively with corruption. If the government does not deal with corruption, we are going to have a massive problem. No matter how much we collect, we will not deliver the services. Now, Nairobi, we need at least 400,000 units of housing. All right, and so far I think we've launched about totally 80,000. If we're going to look at all the houses that we've been talking about, you know, Makongeni, Kibra, Bukuru, we really need better housing for our people. And, you know, I think there has to be a lot of civic education, because the way we are calculating it, you know, based on the 3%, it's obviously not the 3% or the 3% that's going to pay for the house.